the answer is in two parts. Is it possible to delete voters using a software? Yes, it is. But is it necessary? I am not sure. I don't think it is necessary to do that. However, the very fact that people are being deleted without their knowledge itself should be a shock to all of us. All Indians should be shocked. Now, they should actually thank Rahul Gandhi for bringing out this evidence, and they should,
Yes.
if they were mature enough and they were responsible enough, they would have said, well, thank you for giving this evidence. We will get to the bottom of it and we will book the culprits and bring them to the book. See, what happens in a software is software doesn't see you. It sees the user ID and the password, and a role is assigned to a user ID. Say when Neelu Vyas logs in, Neelu Vyas is given a managerial role. So if Madhav Deshpande was to impersonate for Neelu Vyas, the computer is going to think it is Neelu Vyas operating, and therefore all managerial role functions will be assigned or allowed to be performed to Madhav Deshpande, him, or for that matter any other political leader, to bring criminality to the people, to show that yes, what is happening is criminal. Now people have to say, to me, every true Indian, every Indian who believes in the heritage that we have, in the democracy that we've had, in the values that we cherish, irrespective of the person's caste, creed, political leanings, religious beliefs, they should say, we have had enough. We will not let any person who is not fit for the job, and by that fit I don't mean graduates or anything, I mean who doesn't have the moral fiber, who doesn't have the ethical fiber, the person who doesn't care for the country and the democracy, can't stand upright, we will not let them occupy their office.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. Rahul Gandhi today held a second explosive press conference, and he alleged again a wide-scale vote theft or vote chori. He in fact claimed that millions of voters across the country have been targeted for deletion in a centrally coordinated scam, but he stopped short of releasing what he earlier promised was a hydrogen bomb of evidence. In fact, what he has pointed out today and some of the big takeaways. Now, the first point, what he said was voter deletion attempts in Congress strong booths. And he took the example of Aland constituency of Karnataka, where he said that there was an attempt to delete 6,018 voters, which is likely a fraction of the actual number. And he cited the case of a woman named Godabai, whose name was allegedly used to create fake logins to delete 12 voters without her knowledge. Then he cited another person called Surikant, who allegedly deleted 12 voters in 14 minutes and brought him and one of the deleted voters, Babita Chaudhary, on stage so that the people could see who actually the victim was, and they did not know that their voters were deleted. So these are two people whom Rahul Gandhi presented on stage, Surikant and Babita Chaudhary. So that was one bit of the optics of today's press conference. Then he also named another man called Nagaraj, who filled 2 deletion forms in just 38 seconds. At 4 a.m. in the morning, he finishes the job in 38 seconds. And this is what Rahul Gandhi pointed out. Then he said that a centralized software-based operation is possibly being run out of a call center. Now, where this call center is, what is this software? Nobody knows about it. Then the most important part of his press conference, he said that Karnataka CID had written to the Election Commission 18 letters in 18 months, and they demanded 3 things. Now, what are those 3 things which the Karnataka CID consistently asked for? Point number 1, they asked for destination IPs. Point number two, they asked for device destination port. And point number three was OTP trails. And in 18 months, Election Commission did not bother to give even a single reply. And then Rahul Gandhi said on stage that had we got these details in hand, we would have got to the bottom of this particular operation. So these are the claims today made by Rahul Gandhi. Then he also talked about fake additions in Maharashtra's Rajura constituency, and where weird voter names like YUH, UQ, JJW. Then there is an address called Sasti Sasti, which is so weird that you can't have an address called Sasti Sasti. So then Rahul Gandhi has demanded the Election Commission of India to release the data on the mobile numbers and OTPs used in the scam within a week, or it would prove the CEC is actively protecting the vote chores or the vote thieves. So this was all in all the crux of today's press conference. But the biggest question which everybody is asking post the press conference is that can this level of vote theft happen in a centralized manner, through a call center, through a centralized system, and Election Commission is sitting on it? Is this a big conspiracy which Rahul Gandhi today has pointed out? So we will look at the things from the technical aspect, and joining me this evening is a very special guest, someone who was a technical expert and a consultant in the Barack Obama administration of America. Madhav Deshpande joins us this evening. You've heard Madhav's name. He's working vociferously on all these issues and is a technical expert, as I said. Thank you so much, Madhav, for joining on HW. And my first question to you is that I'm really surprised after seeing Rahul Gandhi's press conference and the kind of scientific details which he gave about the voter deletions and additions. As a technical expert, do you think that this is possible, that you can have a centralized software, a centralized call system, which is unleashing this kind of a conspiracy?
Well, first, thanks for having me. Second is possible? Yes, it is. Is it necessary? I'm not sure. The reason is, let's say that you take 5 minutes to delete a voter, and if there are 50 people operating, sitting side by side, in 5 minutes you will have 50 voters deleted, which basically means 10 voters are deleted in 1 minute. To delete 6,000 voters, it will take you 600 minutes, which is 10 hours. So, and given the available manpower in our country, what is easier? To me, it is easier to have people sit and give them a script a paper, and ask them to follow the steps. So the answer is in two parts. Is it possible to delete voters using a software? Yes, it is. But is it necessary? I am not sure. I don't think it is necessary to do that. However, the very fact that people are being deleted without their knowledge itself should be a shock to all of us. All Indians should be shocked, irrespective of their political leanings, irrespective of their religious leanings, whether they are atheists, non-atheists, doesn't matter. If they are Indians, genuine Indians, they should be shocked that something like this could happen in our country. And it is as a custodian of the entire voting process, entire election process, electoral roll, votes, and everything else, it is the responsibility of the Election Commission to investigate this. Now, they should actually thank Rahul Gandhi for bringing out this evidence, and they should,
Yes.
if they were mature enough and they were responsible enough, they would have said, well, thank you for giving this evidence. We will get to the bottom of it, and we will book the culprits and bring them to the book.
No,
And we
but
will see.
you saw the way they reacted immediately after the press conference. They put out a ECI fact check saying that all these allegations are baseless. They don't have any basis. You can't delete the voters like this. Nobody can from outside can delete it. Now, what is that kind of a response? Are they brazening it out? Are they not ready to accept their mistake? What does it look like?
So there are two things here. One is the response is entirely irresponsible. One. Second is it puts them even in a darker spot because now they themselves are saying that outsiders cannot do this. As per the electoral, once again, let me tell you the exact this thing. Section 20.3.6 of the Manual of Electoral Roll says that the Form 7 can be made by online by any voter or any citizen of India, in fact, and actual deletion is done by the ERO. If this is their manual saying this, then what they themselves are saying is these deletions have been done by people who have been authorized by the election commission. Whether they were actual EROs or not, I do not know. Nobody will know except this election commission itself. But somebody was donning the role of an ERO because see what happens in a software is software doesn't see you. It sees the user ID and the password, and a role is assigned to a user ID. Say when Neelu Vyas logs in, Neelu Vyas is given a managerial role. So if Madhav Deshpande was to impersonate for Neelu Vyas, the computer is going to think it is Neelu Vyas operating, and therefore all managerial role functions will be assigned or allowed to be performed to Madhav Deshpande.
What I'm not able to understand, Madhav, is that is it like just one or two people who are involving themselves in this kind of a vote theft? Like what he said, that it's a centralized system which is doing it. Now, centralized system means that there is a software which is being used to delete the voters. There is the phone numbers are masked, the voters' names are masked, the addresses are masked. So how can this level of a vote theft happen? And can the masking be done at this particular level? What is that software? I'm curious to know. You are a technical expert. What do you think is the software which is being used by Ganesh Kumar, if at all the claims made by Rahul Gandhi are correct?
See, as I said, the software, does it have to be used? Yes, but is it necessary? As I said, it is not. But if there is a software, there are multiple types of softwares that can be used. Something that mimic the screen on some other screen, and then you enter, somebody enters data, or even a scripted data, like there's something called as a script, which runs on a server or even on a client. And that what does the script do when it runs on a server? It will automatically fill in data. So you can use something like an Excel sheet to input that data to the script. This is routinely done in any software testing environment. Routinely done, automated, half automated. So this is possible. But
no, what I want to understand from you is like the kind of evidence which on stage Rahul Gandhi got as proof, like Surikant, Babita Chaudhary. Now, I'm totally talking from the perspective of a layman. That here there is a voter number A, his voter is deleted. There is a voter B, his vote is also deleted. Nobody knows. Both of them are blaming that okay, it might be deleted at a particular person's behest, but no one knows that his vote has been deleted. His phone has been used, his address has been masked, but nobody knows. So who is that someone? This is what the question which Rahul Gandhi raised, that who is that someone, which is that power which is doing it?
So I really can't answer this because I am not in CID. But in fact, today, even Karnataka CID may not be able to answer this question. Who is this? But thing is,
No,
see,
but
we have
they have
seen.
no, but if they have asked details like destination IPs and device destination ports and OTP trails, then which means that they have really got something which is bulletproof.
So this is a standard. See, we have seen so many financial scammers being busted. Typically, this is not a one-man job. Typically, it's a group that operates from a given location. We have seen that SIM cards are cloned. Somebody calls the victim, they ask for some details, and people share those details where they should not, but they do share, and then their identity is compromised, the SIM card number is compromised, there is another SIM card which poses as if it is the victim's SIM card. We've seen all this. How do police get to them? There is something called as an IP address which is unique in the globe. The IP address is unique. So if I'm using a cell phone, let's say Geo or Airtel or whatever, the point from where they service me, they give me connection, it has an IP address. That is it's called a static IP address. It can't change. So if I call you and you demand to know that IP address, and the company gives you that, you will know that okay, he's calling me somewhere in Pune, probably near some area, whatever that IP address is. That is exactly how police zero in on these scammers. They get the IP addresses from where the call came. As a see, the election commission has a web server. It has a server which is accessible through internet. That's why it is called web server.
So if you're
Every
saying
good
that the
server.
web server of election commission will have all this data, so which means that after this expose, one needs to investigate the election commission server.
I don't think one needs to investigate, because any good see, and the kind of data they hold is very sensitive. So they will have multiple firewalls, what is called as a firewall. What does a firewall in real life do? It stops fire from spreading further. These firewalls that the server is into, they stop malicious attacks on the server. But the firewalls also collect a lot of data when some connection comes through. It asks where it is, it records the timestamp, it asks where it is coming from, it stores that address, it stores where it does want to go inside the server. And only if it is authentic, authorized, only then it allows it in. Because otherwise, you will have malicious code, you will have all the hacking softwares inside, and it will destroy all your data. They can steal your data, they can do a lot of things. So these firewalls and the servers have all this record. They are called logs, audit logs, and their logs are kept. So it is impossible that the election commission does not have these logs. They will have these logs. I don't think one needs to investigate them, unless of course they continue to refuse to share those logs, in which
Here you
case.
have a situation where you have a situation where election commission is not ready to part with the data. In fact, they are not ready to even accept the mistake that there is some kind of a fudging or deletion or addition of votes which is happening. They are continuously refusing. So where do you see the things unfolding from here? Because there was a reporter today who asked Rahul Gandhi that you are continuously putting out the evidence and the proof, but election commission is not listening to you. So he said, हमारा काम criminality दिखाना है, हमने criminality दिखा दिया, अब हमारा काम खत्म हो गया. So how does one reach the logical conclusion? How does one do it?
So, see, the very famous quote, democracy is for the people, by the people, and of the people. So, unless people realize that, and they, stand up and say, enough is enough, this is not going to stop. These bodies are constituted to protect democracy from being stolen. This is exactly the role of an election commission. And that's why I said, if they were responsible and they were serious about their job, their response would have been, okay, thank you for pointing this out, we will investigate. But the fact that they don't say that tells me that they are not responsible. It's a very irresponsible response. Unfortunately, democracy rests on trust, and trust comes from transparency. And this election commission, this and its previous election commission, has been pure opaque operations. They do not believe in transparency. And when does one not believe in transparency? When someone has something to hide. If I have everything, I have nothing to hide, I would say, okay, come and see whatever you have. You can see whatever you want. But if you have something to hide, I will create barriers, right? That's what they're doing. So what people have to do, and irrespective of my political leanings, what Rahul Gandhi said today was absolutely right. It is for him, or for that matter, any other political leader, to bring criminality to the people, to show that yes, what is happening is criminal. Now, people have to say, to me, every Indian who believes in the heritage that we have, in the democracy that we've had, in the values that we cherish, irrespective of the person's caste, creed, political leanings, religious beliefs. They should say, we have had enough. We will not let any person who is not fit for the job, and by that fit, I don't mean graduates or anything. I mean who doesn't have the moral fiber, who doesn't have the ethical fiber, the person who doesn't care for the country and the democracy, can't stand upright, we will not let them occupy their office. And this should be the approach to election commission, to Supreme Court and all the courts, and even to the politicians. Those who are not working
That's
for
true.
the people, to the benefit of the people, to let people see what it is, let be transparent about it. People should not let them occupy those offices. That is where we've come to, unfortunately.
I also want to come to some more granular details which we found in the press conference. Now, say for example, he's talking about a fellow called Nagraj who deletes two voters in 36 seconds, from 4:07 to about 4:40 or something, and he finishes off deleting two forms all of a sudden in the morning. The time code is there. It's 4 something, 4:06 or something, 4:07 a.m. was the time code which was mentioned there. Now, can it be possible humanly to delete two voters' names in just 38 seconds?
So, two things. One is, if the forms are filled serially one after the other, impossible. But if I'm using a computer, I have opened two windows, I have filled the two forms, then I can delete those. But that means that I am preparing myself to do this. Or there are two people, one myself and one dummy myself, who are operating two computers, and they are deleting it. Both these are possible. If the user ID and password is compromised, you can do things. We do not even know. See, it is now, it becomes election commission's responsibility to answer how did the EROs or people who were impersonating as EROs get those user IDs and passwords, because they
Do
are
you
the
think
ones.
that do you think that the system of the entire EC system has been hacked? Does it look like an inside job? What does it point out to?
It is, see, you don't have to hack the server to do this. You can, but you don't necessarily have to. If you make so many, see, there is, for every server there is an administrator who creates the users. When I say an administrator, it doesn't necessarily mean only one person, it could be a group of people. The users are created, each user is assigned a role. Now, if I go rogue as an administrator and I create 100 fictitious users who are not supposed to be users of the system, and share those user IDs and passwords with people who are not supposed to be get into that system at all these things can happen. So, but this is all under the control of the election commission, and therefore they become answerable and nobody else. The buck stops at the election commission, nowhere else.
There is another mention, where he's talking about a centralized software, and then he shows a few names with serial number one, and he says that this is the first name in the booth, user used for deleting the voters. All serial numbers are 111, and against all those names which have been deleted. Now, what does that go to show? That serial number one, there are multiple deletions happening. Then serial number two, multiple deletions are happening. Is it happening like that? And it can't be with until unless it's mechanized, it's programmed that way.
So I beg to differ there. One is, yes, software will do this very easily and quickly. There is absolutely no doubt about it. But let's say I have the list of these people who have to be deleted, a voter list, and I manually pick up 10 pages from each list. I pick up the first page, so the first entry is going to be 1. I have 10 lists, each list will begin with 1. I tear off the first page, I give it to you. There's another friend, I tear off second page, give it to that second friend. I have 10 friends, I give them 10 first pages. Each one will get, and I tell you, impersonate as the first number on your list, the first name on the list. What happens now? Each person who is deleting will be for with number one. So again, software will do it much quicker, much easily. But is it necessary to only have software? No. So it's on either side. We unless we know.
No, but do you think, in the hindsight, like when you see the entire press conference of Rahul Gandhi, not only this one, also the first one, and the kind of scientific processes he's been talking about, that this is how they got to the bottom of it, do you think that this is credible and it's doable? Can election commission really get into a conspiracy like this? Because now people, everyone is asking, because it's a credible information, and when the leader of the opposition says it on stage before the world, that this is how a scientific rigging of votes is happening, people will tend to believe him. And then the BJP spokespersons or the people from the ruling side, they will come and say, look, he's talking senselessly. So how does one counter that then?
So for one thing, the information that he is sharing is absolutely credible and impeccable, bulletproof evidence. There is no doubt about it. Anybody who says it is not doesn't understand anything about how systems work. It's not only computerized but even otherwise. The evidence is very clear. It has to be believed. It has to be investigated. Now, if see, the thing is, yes, the system is compromised. I do not know by whom, because I have no proof which points me to any direction saying that, you know, this is the person or this is the group. However, as the custodian of this process, it is the election commission's job. They are paid for it to investigate and find the culprits. On the other side, when you said BJP will come and say, I, again, irrespective of my political leanings, when it is a fight between Congress and Election Commission, I do not understand why any other political party, whether it is BJP or anybody else, should get into it at all. Leave it to them. Election Commission are people who are mature, they have had enough of power, they know how to do things. If they don't, then they are not worthy of being in those seats at all. Leave it to them. Let them come out and say, okay, this is the proof why this evidence that Rahul Gandhi has given is not credible. This is what actually happened. By just claiming that this did not happen doesn't make it truth. He has come out with evidence. You have to come out with evidence. Evidence can be countered only by evidence and not by claims.
Right.
What
So
election
now my
commission is
last,
doing is claiming.
right, right. So my last question to you, Madhav, now is that what are the big questions after today's press conference? And mind you, the hydrogen bomb is still waiting. So I don't know what bigger revelations will come. Only Rahul and his team know about that. But what are the big questions and what are the big takeaways on which now the investigators or the political parties who are going to the people for elections, say, for example, in Bihar, what are the kind of questions which should be raised now?
Raised now, I don't think there is anything that more can be raised now, because enough questions about the SIR have been raised. Unfortunately, at least as a conscientious and aware citizen, I am disappointed with Supreme Court by not cancelling the SIR completely. My expectation, and I don't understand anything about law, but as a common citizen, my expectation was such a short notice SIR should not be done. It has never been done in the past. There was no need to do it. They had done it only in January. So they had to at least Supreme Court should have asked the election commission, what is the need? Why are you doing it within 6 months again? So I am very disappointed with Supreme Court for over the last few years, for sure. I was never very happy with the judiciary system in India anyway, but particularly in last few years, it has been very disappointing. So I don't think any new questions can come up, but I think we have to ask ourselves, every Indian worth his or her salt, has to ask ourselves, how did we get here? How did we let the system degrade so much that we have let our democracy get at stake today? How did we allow this to happen? And the only answer to that is, as I said earlier, anybody who is not ethical, not moral, doesn't have the fabric, doesn't have the spine, and doesn't have the courage to do their job to the best of their honesty, ability, and in the interest of Indian people and transparently, should not be allowed to occupy positions of influence. And those should be in election commission, it should be in Supreme Court or entire judiciary, and even in politics, irrespective of which party, it doesn't matter.
No, but hasn't Rahul Gandhi established the culpability of the election commission, that they are culpable in a crime like this? So, do you think that Gyanesh Kumar will ever part with data like OTP trail, which the Karnataka CID has been asking for? Because they will keep it guarded, they will keep it very close to their chest. I don't see a possibility at all that they will be ever divulging this data. Because if they divulge that data, then God save them. What's going to happen?
True, and see, it's very true. What you say is absolutely true. If they had to do it, if they were so responsible and they were really they did care for Indian democracy, they would have said, as I said, thank you for getting the evidence. We'll get to the bottom of it, and they would have shared whatever evidence they have, so that people can join in and make sure that democracy is strengthened. The fact that they don't do it, probably they will not. But should they not do it? No, they should. They should do it. हिंदी में कहते हैं ना, देर आए लेकिन दुरुस्त आए. Maybe it is late, but let them say, okay, we were not doing the things right way. We will do it right way. We've got the evidence. We'll get to the bottom of it. That would service the country more than anything else. Anybody who does anything else, I think this is nothing could be more, against the country, against the fabric of India, than sabotaging the entire democracy itself.
Thank you so much, Arvind. Thank you so much for joining on HW.
Thank you.